DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the 7-game Friday main slate starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, going through the 9 o'clock hour. So we got a nice little spread of games here for us. One 7 p.m. game. So we got that. A couple of 8 o'clocks as well on the slate. So it should be a good one. Got a couple of teams on back-to-backs here. Boston, OKC, and maybe just Boston, OKC. Boston and OKC, the only two teams here on back-to-backs. Makes me wonder, makes me assume Kristaps Porzingis did not play on Thursday. Al Horford did. Boston on a back-to-back. Maybe Porzingis is playing the second leg of this while Al Horford sits the second leg of that back-to-back here. We also saw Jaylen Brown sit out on Thursday. We'll see. Maybe that triggers somebody else maybe sitting out for Boston as well. But it should be a pretty interesting slate. The Knicks are here. We saw Jalen Brunson not play the other day in that matchup. They have the Thunder. Obviously Luka Doncic is out for Dallas. Pelicans missing some guys here, so should be a good one. Kicks off with Charlotte, Detroit. James,
super fun. Charlotte, Detroit. Best game possibly ever created in the history of the NBA. And I can't wait to watch it. Honestly, my league pass, why would I watch any other game? Why would Detroit? I want to watch Cleveland, Dallas, or Spurs, Nuggets when I can watch Ausar Thompson go up against Vasily Micic?
That's the dream, right? That's what we're looking at here. So we'll see. LaMelo Ball is questionable for this game, so could have LaMelo back.
Yeah, they're all those players that were out are all listed questionable. So at least that's the 7 p.m. game, and we'll know ahead of time.
Agreed. If you are on FanDuel, you get some more exciting matchups. Grizzlies Kings 237.5 game total. Atlanta versus the Lakers. No total on that one because AD was out. So, but I would imagine that's probably north of 230 as well. So some fun ones there. Our late night hammer, Spurs Nuggets 233.5 total. Cleveland Dallas 229 total. Wizards Pelicans 231.5 total. So we do have some high game totals that we can look to target here. Top price plays overall on the slate: Jokic 12-2, Wemby 11-5, SGA 10-6, Towns 10-4, Tatum 10-2. Kate Cunningham, big price drop after the New Year's Day shocker there when he was 10-6. So those are your spend up options. Looking at the point guard position, SGA 10-6 on the back-to-back against the Knicks. Cade 99. Scotty Barnes, point guard eligible still, but Emmanuel quickly had a ridiculous double-double in his return. We'll talk about him momentarily. You got LaMelo down to 97, which could be pretty interesting if he ends up suiting up. Then Irving versus the Cavs at $9,200.
Yeah, point guard's very interesting. I think it's always worth mentioning when OKC is on a back-to-back, they typically play 11 guys. And SGA is usually the one guy that's not affected. So you can basically play SGA, and that's really it. So if you want to get to him, by all means, do so. Cade is obviously going to be really interesting moving forward because the Jaden Ivey injury occurred. And Cade, for what it's worth, we're going to see Ausar Thompson and probably more Malik Beasley, especially with no Fontecchio tomorrow, possibly more like Ron Holland and stuff like that. But the train starts with this guy right here in Cade Cunningham. So I like the sub 10K price. No Jaden Ivey. The only thing I'd say with Cade that we don't get with I'm not ready to call him a superstar, but someone playing at the all-star caliber level that he's played is that he's rarely ever given that extra minutes. I know he did in that Sacramento game, but it's very seldom that he's playing high 30s minutes. In a normal game, he's usually settled into mid 30s.
Sure.
It is worth mentioning though, no Jaden Ivey, 35% usage rate, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. So
Yeah,
He's done
and
it
he's
in
obviously even in 35 minutes this year, which is a good number, right? Like,
yeah,
he's not playing like Nick's minutes here, but
right.
got 60, got 70, 60 a few times, 70. So I'm with you there. Um, again, LaMelo though, if he's good to go, do we assume that there's going to be any limitations on him? He's obviously missed a few games, but getting him at $9,700 for a guy that has a pretty high ceiling as well.
Yeah, I'm not anti LaMelo. I would probably we're not going to know if there's going to be some type of limit. He played 26 minutes after almost a month off. He's only missed a week, so he should be close to full here. But like 9,700, if there's no Brandon Miller, it's too cheap.
Yeah.
Because Brandon Miller is also questionable. So
This man takes 30 plus shots, right?
yes,
So
he is going to take a lot of shots again, right?
and then you have Kyrie 92 against Cleveland, Dallas at home for this one. Again, he had the good game against Portland. He had the good game against Minnesota. The other two games were not that great. Cleveland's obviously very good. I would almost venture to guess we don't get ceiling version of Kyrie in this matchup, but what do you think?
Kyrie is always someone that is live for a ceiling because he has like just a unique offensive ability, but I mean it's a tough spot. So he in a game that they scored 99 points on Christmas, he took 27 shots and scored 39 actual. So like I'm not going to put it past him to do it. I'd say the one thing we like about Kyrie is the minutes. The one thing we also like about Dallas is that they play really fast without Luka. So tournaments, not my favorite, but it's definitely something to look at in tournaments.
Okay. Next tier down definitely gets interesting. You have DeJounte against the Pelicans, 87. DeJounte against the Wizards at $8,700. Opposite of him, you have Jordan Poole, who had a really big game the other day. He's $8,200. You have Suggs at 83. Jamal Murray at $7,900. McCollum is there, like a really strong mid-tier of guard play.
And, not to be overlooked, Jalen Brunson is questionable again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens and, what happens with the Knicks in general. Both him and Deuce McBride are listed as questionable. So we'll see what Knicks point guards are playing and what Nick point guards aren't playing and what Nick point guards are going through lineup, though, pregame warmups and what aren't going through pregame warmups. So keep that in mind. Yeah, DeJounte, obviously great spot. Don't love 8,700 for DeJounte Murray, but it's obviously a great spot. Jalen Suggs has a ceiling, is in a spot to provide a ceiling.
Yeah.
He is seemingly the one Magic player that is not at risk for a benching of some sort. As long as the game stays close, Jalen Suggs will play as many minutes as he can, and you can't say that about basically anyone else on the Magic. So I like Suggs in this spot. Jordan Poole came back, only had to play 27 minutes, but he took 21 shots and made all of them because that's all Jordan Poole's done this year is just
be a bucket.
His stock is just at an all-time high. I mean, he's going to get dealt. And, let's not forget Jordan Poole was a key part of a championship team. So, like, it's not that, like, Jordan Poole could definitely help a contending team. And his stock is all at an all-time high, as I mentioned. So he's fine for tournaments. McCollum's great. Jamal Murray's great. Van Vliet, couldn't make a singular shot the other day. He made 1 of 8, but 42 minutes was like pretty awesome to see.
Yeah.
Still no Amen Thompson here. Gonna see another 40 out of Fred Van Vliet with no Thompson. They're just saying, don't care, not going to play any of these, and they're not going to play Reed Shepherd against Boston. I'll tell you that. So, like, sign me up for Van Vliet if he's playing 40 minutes a night. Garland is just so good, and his price is not moving. I understand the minutes. Another guy who's like kind of impacted by minutes. They don't have to have him play any more minutes than this. Because when it gets to the playoffs, this team is going to be as fresh as any other team in basketball.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Darius Garland's going to give you 40 fantasy points, and at his price, he's too cheap. So of that whole tier, it's in a very appealing one. I do think Garland probably stands out the most for me.
Mania quickly returned.
Yeah, this is
Limited. A limited Manuel quickly returned. Played 32 minutes, had 21 and 15 with 4 rebounds.
It's crazy. I mean, you had like briefly like made the comment
Is an
just
elbow
like in passing that it was an elbow. Like that was all you said. You're just like, it's an elbow. And like
he started and played full minutes.
I mean, like it just kind of
like, wasn't a 20-point blowout. He might have played 35, right? Like,
well, no, they played because Scotty played 38 minutes, so they just played. Darko was happy to get a win, dude. He was like, "I'm keeping these dudes. I'm keeping these guys on the floor."
Didn't even have RJ in that game. You get that team going, like.
Quickly. 42 seconds they lost, so he would have played 32-49. So it would have rounded up to 33 minutes.
Okay.
But he's full. I mean, he's just full.
The most minutes he's played all season after missing 2 months.
4 games. He played 4 games. It's crazy.
So anyway, we know he can be this. It's obviously an Orlando matchup. He'll draw the Suggs. I would assume he draws Suggs here. I don't even know if it matters. Like, quickly is as big of a bucket as there's been in some time when he's been given the leash to do so. And I'll talk about Barnes at small forward, but he was great in that game too. Westbrook down here. They're still playing that smaller lineup. He had another double-double after his triple-double against Utah. Just ridiculous continued production as long as Aaron Gordon's out. Aaron Gordon's going to miss at least another couple of games, it said.
He's already out. He's already
ruled out. I didn't like Dinwiddie's Price the other day. Still don't like Dinwiddie's Price. You only got 20 minutes from Paul in that blowout win rather. Probably a better chance to be competitive in this game against Denver.
Yeah,
I think so.
It should be a fun. Yeah, it should be a fun game. I like the Westbrook of all the play, like Westbrook, Chris Paul. Yeah, I'm good, but that game is irrelevant to me. The Clippers game.
28 minutes out of Brogdon again.
Yeah, 28 minutes was good. I mean, they're just going to play him. He came off the bench in this one, but the minutes are solid. Yep.
Pritchard comes off the bench. We know. Drew Holiday price pump. It's just too cheap still. He's having a really good game tonight against Minnesota. I would have no problem paying 51 for Drew.
Yeah, and there's nothing suggesting, Jalen's sitting because of it's a back-to-back. He's openly talked about people being soft for sitting on one ends of back-to-backs. Like he has to be hurt if he's sitting. And the KP quote was interesting because he said I'm close. I could play tonight on Thursday, but I don't know if I'm gonna. Right. It's like, oh, you don't know if you're gonna. Okay. But you're close. Yeah. But you don't know if you're gonna play? No. Oh, yeah. Okay.
First leg of a back-to-back. He was never suiting up there. I like Holiday at 51. He's pretty good. Would you play any of these value guards? Like, would you go back to the Vasily Micic if LaMelo Ball's ruled out?
Yeah, I mean, he shot 1 of 13. He played 30 minutes in regulation. I'd be more than okay going back to that well. If he shoots 1 for 13 again, so be it. Be it. It just is what it is. But he's also, he hasn't shot the ball particularly well this year, but he's been better than 1 for 13 bad. Yeah. Obviously, TBD on McBride. If him and Brunson both sit, I understand OKC is a good team, but Cameron Payne is $4,000. I really wouldn't have a problem getting there.
Didn't the Thunder draft campaign all the way back then?
I don't know if they drafted him, but I know he was there because him and Westbrook would always do the dances at the right before Westbrook was going in the game. He might have been drafted by them. But I know there was a Cameron Payne time spent there. Yeah.
All right. Shooting guard. Yeah, a lot of these guys do a positional eligibility, but you do have Brandon Miller, 86. Donovan Mitchell here, 8 of 20. Fantasy points haven't been there. The regular points have been fine, though. 26, 23. 32, 27 minutes again because they won by, whatever was there. So a more efficient shooting day. Maybe he has a bigger output, but I always think Mitchell's fine for tournaments. And all these guys we've pretty much talked about. Murphy had himself a really big game. He was about the only one that scored in like the first half for the Pelicans in that one. And again, we talked about this. Even in losses, the Pelicans are playing these guys all the minutes.
Trey Murphy is very good at basketball. For those just tuning in to the NBA, he is an absolute flamethrower offensively. So yeah, no problem getting there. We figured this day was coming. The over $7,000 price tag. It was bound to get here.
It was. And you mentioned McCollum. You can play that as well. Got your Knicks plays. Devin Vassell, $6,200. Probably going to be super chalky again, like he always is at this price point.
Yep. And again, just nothing you could do about that last game. They won by 100 against the Spurs on the second leg of a back-to-back.
Yep. What are your thoughts on the Dallas Wings?
Like Grimes, I like the minutes. I like the production. I don't love the price. Clay, I like the minutes. I don't mind the production. The prices, I'm indifferent about their price tags. I think they're probably a couple $100 too cheap, but if you think that game can stay close, it's two top 10 teams in pace, just like, we've been down this road before. Every time we think a game against Cleveland is going to stay close, it doesn't. So, but if you think it can stay close, obviously Grimes and Clay are making shots.
Beasley had all the opportunity. Went 0 for 7. It was Orlando, tough matchup, but no Ivy now. Going to be all the minutes potentially to go his direction if he hits his shots.
Yeah, he got benched and they played THJ and Oscar Thompson over him. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Like, you can obviously play him in a tournament. There's obviously a pretty good ceiling if he makes shots.
Do we chase the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope game?
Yeah, man. I mean, they need scoring. It's a good spot to score against. So I'm not anti KCP. It's a good spot.
Sure. Dort will play minutes. You mentioned THJ. What's Strus up to these days? Strus up to 26 minutes.
Yeah, he played a lot. And I think the most important thing in that was that he did that on the second leg of a back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing him like over Dean Wade down the stretch of that game. So
painful.
It is. But knowing that Strus can do that on the second leg of a back-to-back is definitely good to see. Maybe it's something that we eventually see where Strus is back in the starting lineup too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, a 4K Strus, if now we're seeing 26 minutes, like that's a pretty good value there.
Yes, agreed.
Anybody else?
I mean, I'd be interested to see if there's no Barrett, what Bruce Brown's minutes get to. I probably don't get there, but I'd just be interested.
19 in both games he's played so far. So
right. And one of them was a 50-point loss and one of them was a 20-point loss. So like in a more competitive setting, do we get like max minutes from Bruce Brown, or like they ramped up quickly pretty fast? Why can't they ramp up Bruce Brown? So that's something to keep in mind. They played, and I know Julian Strawther played in blowout as well. $3,400 Julian Strawther was like playing a lot of minutes even before a blowout. He played 8 minutes in the first. I guess that's because of Russ foul trouble. I guess you could take a shot on like a Strawther dart if, and hope you get like the 23-minute Julian Strawther. Because that's in the cards.
Sure. Small forward. Tatum is 10-2. Again, we'll see who suits up. Mentioned without Porzingis and Jaylen Brown on the floor this year, he had a 37% usage rate and 1.6 fantasy points per minute. He's living up to that billing so far here in this game. They're a couple minutes into the fourth quarter. He's at 28, 6, 6, and 3 in 30 minutes, and he's going to check back in and play another 8 probably. So maybe a 40-point game on their way for Jason Tatum if he stays hot. So, if those guys are out, if one of those guys are out, just like insane numbers for Jason Tatum there. And then we get to Scotty Barnes. You and I did not really like the price tag of 10-1. Well, 38 minutes, 14 of 18, 33, 13, and 5. Maybe he's just better if he has an actual point guard to play with.
Yeah, I think the most important thing was, in that game prior, like in the Boston game, the shots were there, the rebounds were back. He just didn't make shots. And like next thing you know, like, oh, right, the ankle looks fine and he's making threes. And right, this is the guy that his head coach called the face of the league of. So he obviously is a very talented dude. Do we want to get $9,800 Scotty Barnes if like RJ's back? Because then this is the healthiest Toronto team's been, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Brown's back, Quickly's back, RJ would be back, Scotty, Pirtle, like they're just fully Kelly off the bat, like they are just fully healthy. I think Scotty Barnes is obviously still the best player there, but 9,800 is probably a little too steep, and I feel the same way about Barrett 93 if Barrett plays.
Our guy triple doubled.
Oh,
the second straight game.
Dude.
At one point, he had, I think, a double-double with like no points.
No points, yeah, he did.
And then he just didn't miss for a quarter and ended up with 15.
Well, he also
14,
didn't. He also sat in the first quarter and then never sat again.
Yeah, 45 minutes. Well, we've talked about that. He's live to play an entire game. He also prides himself in that, like he wants to play full games.
Yeah. And then complains about it when he does.
I know. There's only so many words that have been said on this program about Josh Hart. You can play him at any time you want. He is always live to do this.
Correct.
So doesn't matter the matchup. Obviously, the better matchups, the more potential. But he could go out triple double versus the Knicks against the Thunder would not shock me one bit. And no one will play him. Not one soul will play him at $7,600. So
well, you're saying if Brunson's in?
I don't even know because it's the Thunder at home, I don't think many people will play the Knicks here.
I would suspect if Brunson is out, the Knicks are really popular. Okay. Get the Thunder on the second leg of a back-to-back, and sure. you're getting the one coach that will play his guys 40-plus minutes in like any scenario.
So do you think nobody's playing Jokic then?
I think that because like Cameron Payne would be 4K in that scenario, or like McBride's like low fours, you're playing like
Jokic, one of the value guards, plus a Hart or something.
Plus a Hart, yeah. I mean, Towns played 30. No Brunson. Like I know this matchup was against the Jazz. Yeah. But 3 of the guys played over 40 minutes. Towns played 37. Payton played 37. So like it's just you just don't find that. Sure. You just don't find that. That's my only like reasoning behind why I do think the Knicks would still be popular.
Okay. You got Michael Porter Jr., $6,500 against San Antonio. A lot of these other guys we've discussed already. Got Dylan Brooks probably playing a lot of minutes. We tout Tristan Da Silva, and he has this game again where he doesn't hit a shot.
And gets
not
benched.
One shot.
And gets benched.
And gets benched. Second time. I think we had someone in the chat mention that as well. And it happened. So big sad. I still think you go back to the well. Like there's what the floor is, but you've seen what the ceiling can be as well. So
it's a good spot. You just need to obviously like when he doesn't make shots, he's dead and he's dead to rights.
Yeah, he's absolutely dead. Any value for you?
I mean, obviously, if Boston's same situation, we're going back to the Hauser well, 4,100.
Hauser's hit 5 threes.
Started, hit 5 threes. Keldon Johnson was really good again off the bench for the Spurs, even though the minutes are kind of crappy. I still think that he's a bucket. Asar Thompson played 25 minutes again, had just an insane game. I mean, 5 steals, 5 turnovers, couldn't make a shot, couldn't make a free throw, but he was Asar Thompson because he's just creating mayhem everywhere he goes. 4K against Charlotte, a team that is not afraid to turn the ball over. Right. I would have interest in a guy that has this type of like psychopathic nature defensively. So
sure.
With Ivy out, I'm interested to see what the starting lineup looks like because it's one of I think it's one of two things. It's, there's no Fontecchio here again. So they're either going to start Beasley alongside Hardaway, or THJ is just going to shift up to the 2. Asar Thompson's going to start at the 3, and then Beasley still remains in his normal 6-man role. So
they were starting Beasley when there was no Ivy earlier,
right? Wasn't there also no someone else? Wasn't Tim Hardaway also out?
Possibly, I guess. I'd have to go back and look.
Because didn't we get the Asar? Didn't we debate this and we're like, we don't know.
We got that when there was no Tobias.
When there was no Tobias. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the starting lineup. Either way, he played 24 minutes in a game that Ivy got hurt. He played a bunch of minutes in the first half to begin with. So this was. So, yeah. No, I was. So in the Utah game.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey was out. Asar Thompson started over Malik Beasley.
Oh, okay.
And Asar Thompson got in immediate foul trouble. And
maybe that's why I just remember Beasley having the game.
Yes. Beasley came off the bench and played 34 minutes. Okay. But that was the Asar Thompson 6 fouls. He had 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes he played, and then was in foul trouble the whole night.
Fair enough. There was no Tari Eason, no Eamon Thompson. Cam Whitmore played 24 minutes.
And there was weird comments after the game basically saying, trade me. I don't know why I'm not playing.
Please trade him. We don't know why he's not playing. If there's the same situation, we know there's no Eamon Thompson. If there's no Tari Eason again, you're going to give us 24 minutes plus maybe of Cam Whitmore. The dude continues to be a bucket. So I don't mind going in that direction here. Anything else for you at small forward?
No.
Power forward, a lot of these guys we discussed. Jalen Williams is 83. Mobley is 78.
The Jalen Williams price, I'm happy to see it coming down. I just don't think I'm gonna get there. Indifferent about it. You could definitely get there. He's obviously has a high ceiling. I do like Evan Mobley here. Especially if PJ Washington sits. PJ Washington left their last game. He's listed questionable. Yeah. I don't really know what Dallas would do. I guess Maxi Kleba would be the assignment for Mobley, and that's not fun for Maxi Kleba at all. 7,800 for Mobley is really good. And obviously, none of that matters if LaMelo and Brandon Miller's out because everyone will just play Miles Bridges at 7,700.
Right. That is true. Miles Bridges' big play there. Kuzma had to start the second half of that game.
Koulibaly's out, right?
Yeah.
He's out already.
So if they start Kuzma, he only played 22 minutes in that game. But if they start Kuzma, 6,100, I definitely have some interest here against the Pelicans.
I think it's they just didn't get extended because it was a blowout.
Yeah.
Kuzma, no, he really didn't play a lot. He probably would have played. He would have played 24 minutes if it wasn't a blowout. He lost 2 minutes of garbage time. So
right. So I think if there's no Koulibaly and he starts though, there's more early minute rotation for him.
Agreed.
So I could see that if he starts though. If he's not starting, I can't trust he's going to play more than what he's been playing. Star was really good, but so was the freak of nature we'll talk about at center. So that's basically keeping him to 25 minutes here. When they're not going to take the other guy off the floor, it seems like, and they're not playing them together. They were earlier in the year.
No,
but they're not doing it now. But again, he had a double in 25 minutes. Star's really good. It's a good matchup against the Pelicans, but we'll talk about Valanciunas here in a little bit. Any other power forwards for you? We got Wendell Carter playing 34 minutes in that game, finally looking like the Wendell Carter we had hoped to see.
Yeah, tough. They bench Goga. Are they going to bench Goga this game? It's just just when you think Goga's matchup proof,
he was chalk. Everybody played him too.
Yeah, WCJ is fine. I like Tobias Harris for what it's worth, 4,900. finally got max minutes, Toby. He made shots. He was back to the guy he was earlier in the year. He's going to be he's going to be really popular. $4,900 Tobias Harris coming off like his best game in a while in a really good matchup. Just, gear up, people. Like 4,900 Toby's going to be one of the highest rostered players when you wake up and you sit down at your desk and look at your coffee cup. Maxi Kleber is also questionable. Oh boy, they're in trouble if there's no PJ or Kleber. I mean,
and there's no Najee Marshall already.
Is he still back? Is he back in this game? No, he's still suspended. Huh? One more game?
Four
maybe?
Four games.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, at this point, I don't know how many games ago they were fighting. I have no idea.
Yeah. And then center.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jokic, Wemby, and Towns all up over 10K. Obviously, the Jokic-Wemby matchup is something to highlight. Jokic got another triple-double. 23, 17, and 15 in just 30 minutes.
Did you see it was the 7th fastest triple-double of court time of all time?
Yeah, well, he was a rebound shy or an assist shy of triple-double by half.
Yeah, it was 20 minutes. He did it in 20 minutes. He also holds the record of that, by the way. And he's triple-doubled in 14 minutes. He holds the record.
Not shocked. Then obviously the other side is Wembanyama. If you want to go there too, you could. That's fine. I wouldn't sit there and argue with you too much on it. Both of those guys are fine. Towns obviously looked really good without Brunson. 69 fantasy points in his own right. 31 and 21. Can he do that against the Thunder, though?
I think he could probably do that against anybody, but we will see, right? If there's no Brunson, we will see what he does against the Thunder. I think we're at a point. I tweeted at DraftKings too. Like, isn't Jokic just too cheap until he's 13K?
Yeah.
I think
he was 12.8 on FanDuel the other day. I don't know where he's at now on FanDuel. I have to check.
He has to be 13K for it to be like a price you think about. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't you're not thinking about playing a 12-2 guy. I'm just saying, like,
yeah. Hey, we had people in our chat during the live show the other day questioning Jokic's price, and we're like, yeah, sure, your prerogative not to play him, but know that what he can do. And then he went and had a 40-point triple-double, almost a 40-point triple-double, and went for 93 fantasy points. That was at 12K. People were like, I don't know. I'd rather play like Embiid. Like, hey, could. Jokic went for 93 that game.
You could. Yeah, you could.
Definitely could. Definitely your call. Jared Allen, this Şengün, this Hartenstein, Goga, those guys are fine. I do like Jared Allen matchup here against Dallas. Never mind what he did against the Lakers and Anthony Davis, 27-14 in that game. This definitely feels like a good spot for him, whether it's Lively, Gafford, or both.
Dude, Jared Allen is a very good traditional center matchup because he stays on the floor. Like, he just plays. He's like very good shot blocker, very good rebounder.
The last few times he's played 30 minutes.
Around the rim.
For 49 and 55 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a ceiling. And I don't think many people are going to play Jared Allen because he is very reliant upon others getting him the ball, where a lot of the centers above him are not that.
Value tier also interesting. Mark Williams, 31 minutes.
Oof, dude.
Hit all of his shots against Chicago, 49 fantasy points, 20 and 12. Facing the team that traded him, the two centers are going to be going up against each other that were traded for each other. Lively and Mark Williams. Listen, we saw this from Mark Williams last year when he was able to be healthy and on the floor. The problem was it was 4 games that he was able to be healthy and on the floor.
Yeah, he
right.
Was never
so if we're getting 30 minutes now out of Mark Williams, look out. This dude is
$1,500 too cheap.
Yeah,
he's a 7K player.
Probably should be priced for Goga's price or something like that, right? And then Valanciunas in 22 minutes.
He's a
psychopath.
He's a psycho.
14, 6, 6, and 3 steals in 22 minutes.
That's literally what Jokic did in the first half.
He's going to revenge game a little bit too against Belly. He's going to do this again. He's going to do this exact same thing. He's going to go out there. I had texted you. in like the first 4 minutes of the game, he was like 6-2, 2-2. And I'm like, he's already hit. He's already at 20 fantasy points. Like he's already there. Yeah, he's giving you 7x like back-to-back games, 8x, 9x here. Like, yeah. Valanciunas, fire him up.
Fire him up. Great in tournaments. I mean, he is.
If there's no Lively's not even on the injury part, so it's gonna be both of those centers are gonna play then. So,
dude, Lively, they said that he was gonna be on a 16-minute limit the other day, like 15 to 18. I forget what they said. He just went. He was like, "All right, that's all I'm gonna play today, sure," and he just said, "All right, I'll just do everything while I'm on the floor," and went nuclear. So if there's not going to be a limit, I would definitely I'm perfectly fine getting to some Derek Lively.
Sorry, I was slightly distracted by the fact that the Celtics currently have a lineup out there that includes Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum playing the 3, Al Horford at the 4, and Enos Quaida at the 5 right now. So
yeah, they've double bigged it a couple times because the T-Wolves are running the Randall Reed. Yeah, the Randall Reed.
Didn't think we'd see Tatum at the 3 anytime, but we got it there. We got there, folks.
We saw it. They had it with Cornette in the first half too.
Funny lineup to see. All right. Any other value centers that you'd play? What did Chua end up doing? 13.
No,
he's actually good too. Hilariously, 5 of 8. Played a floor minutes game and got you the most fantasy points it scored in a week.
Floor minutes game.
So.
Yeah, it's impossible to play anything other than their starting 5.
Okay.
I mean, they just played so many. They played so many minutes.
All right, lineup time. Are we plugging in the 12-2 Joker here? Figuring it out, or
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely pro Joker in any matchup at this point. And then I think we get some Detroit value since it's just sitting there for us. Toby at 4.9, Asar Thompson 4,000. Like one of two or both of them make all the sense of the world.
Yeah, Beasley's 55. Source 4K. Shooting guard. I mean, would you play 3 against Charlotte? You have to play Beasley?
I would probably play a healthy amount of Pistons.
Right. Yeah. They're kind of all in good spots here. Beasley 55, 5,800 a play. What do we want to get to here? Jokic obviously takes up so much of your salary.
Yeah, but that's the conversation that like it's worth having. Have. Yeah, I mean it's like one of those like, well, he does, but also who else on the slate is getting you the 90? Just switch Williams and Jokic so I don't have an aneurysm, please.
You don't want me to put the 7K guy in my
please. Started giving me a heart palpitation when I just looked over at the screen.
All right. So we got 7K for a point guard and a forward.
I mean, it's really in a pretty good range because, like, I do like that. I do like the quickly Garland Van Vliet like tier, especially we know Houston's going to play Van Vliet 40. Garland's going to get you 40, and quickly is apparently just the most unlimited player of all time.
Mr. Unlimited.
He is literally Russell Wilson. Yes, that is correct.
All right. Well, we got $7,700 here. Throw a dart. Name a guard.
I like Garland, I think, or Van Vliet. One of the two.
Garland works. All right. Garland, Beasley, Thompson, Harris, 3-stack in Detroit against Charlotte. Williams, Strus, Vassell, Jokic. A couple of mini stacks for us there. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. It's time to break it all down for you. Are you on the playbook for Friday? Who's on the playbook?
I am. Yep.
James is on the playbook for Friday, so he'll have the deep dive for all of you guys there. Until then, we appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like, that subscribe, that share. Put a comment in the comment section. We'll talk to you throughout the day, and we'll catch you later.